Hi everyone, it's Barry here from Mitosu Crafts. Thank you for joining me today, and thank you for joining me for this week's Fun Fold Friday video tutorial. Today I'm going to be showing you how you can make another variation of this card right here. So this was the card I made on my last Fun Fold Friday, which is a trifold. Well, we named it a trifold card anyway. Not really 100% sure what the correct name of it is, but trifold seemed to be something which was very popular for this. But yeah, that's what I showed you how you can create on the last one, and at the end of the video I said I was going to show you the same fold, but I was going to create something different with it, so you're going to get a bit of a variety with one fun fold but several ways. So that's the plan with today's video. But if you would like to watch how this one was made with all of the measurements in centimetres and inches, I will pop a link for it down below in the description, and there may even be one hovering around somewhere at the top right here as well. So just keep an eye out for that if you want to go back and have a good old look at how this one was made, because it's going to be exactly the same measurements how I did this one, but I'm just going to do something different with it. So I hope you enjoy what I've got in store. But do remember, if you like anything you see me using, then you can purchase stuff from our online shop. So details are on the screen right now, so you can just head over to, not that one, well that's our website. You can either head over to mitosucrafts.com and you can find all of our inspiration and links to our online shop on there as well. But if you want to go directly to our shop, you can head over to mitosucrafts.com/shop, and that will direct you directly to our online store, where you can order your Stampin' Up! Craft supplies. So if there is anything which you like, then do please shop with us. So if you live in the UK, France, Germany, Netherlands, Austria, Belgium and Ireland, there we go, that's all the countries which you can shop with us from. So yes, let's crack on. So sit back, relax and enjoy. Okay, so to create this card you're going to need to prepare your materials. Okay, so you're going to need to have two pieces. Let's just grab these, two pieces measuring 14 centimetres by 21 centimetres, and you want to score this in half at 10.5 centimetres, and you're going to need two of those. Okay, you would also need two pieces measuring 14.1 centimetres by 14.1 centimetres, another two of those in your coordinating cardstock, and another piece here measuring at 5 centimetres by 14 centimetres, and a score down the middle there at 2.5, so basically it just in half. Okay, you would also need some designer series paper. This is measuring 10 centimetres by 13.5, and you will need two of those. And you will also need the same size, 10 centimetres by 13.5 in some basic white. One more bit of basic white, which is measuring 13.5 by 13.5, and this will be an offcut of designer series paper, but if you haven't got an offcut, then you want to cut it down to 13.5 by 5.2, and that's what you're going to need for all of this. You will have some offcuts, so just keep these handy just in case you may need them for filling in some bits later on. And you will also need some scraps of some basic white and some black for doing some stamping and securing later on as well. So that's everything which you're going to need. Products which I'm going to be using the Thoughtful Wishes stamp set here, which is the Thoughtful and also the Thoughtful Journey Designer Series paper. I'll be using the Happy Birthday sentiment here from the Friends for Life stamp set, with a variety of embossing folders as well. So we've got the So Swirly embossing folder, and I have also got the Distressed Tile 3D embossing folder. So there are just some of the items which I'm going to be using, and also a 1 3/4 inch punch, along with some other bits and bobs as well, but I will go through those as and when I get to them. Okay, so first things first, what I'm actually going to do for this one is I'm just going to prepare my decoration for the inside of the card, and I'm going to just stamp out some of these right here. So these are the leaves from the stamp set, and I'm going to do this twice. I'm also going to stamp the Happy Birthday, so we can just bring in our 1 3/4 inch punch, and we can then just punch out this Happy Birthday. And what I'm also going to do is I'm just going to colour these, or just one of these, just quickly. I'm just going to colour them in some green. So I'm using Lemon Lime Twist for this one. So nothing special with colouring there, just keeping that just one colour. That's all I need to do. So I'm just going to just have one coloured and one uncoloured, and I've got this one here. I'm also going to, in a moment, because I'm going to die cut these ones out, I'm also going to grab my dies from the Thoughtful Wishes dies, and I'm going to take this one right here, and I'm going to cut that one out twice. And I'm also going to grab the Everyday Labels dies, and I'm going to grab one of the circles here. Okay, so I'm going to take the second to smallest circle, and I'm going to take that one. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and I'm just going to die cut those ones out. So die cut these ones out right here, and die cut out this circle. I'm going to die cut on some black. These ones, and I'm going to cut twice of that one right there. Okay, so they are my pieces which I've got. So I've got my two pieces there, got my two pieces there, and I've got my sentiments and the black piece. So we can go ahead and we can stick the sentiment piece to that black circle. Okay, on this particular one, obviously I am covering up those holes, but I'm not concerned with that one for this particular one. But you can go with technically a smaller white circle if you had a smaller sentiment to show through the white holes. But it works also as well as just being a nice matte and layer for that one. So that's those ones. Leave those ones to one side, and you can pop these to one side as well. What I'm going to do with these ones right here, grab myself a bit of copy paper, and I'm going to grab my blends, and I am going to, let's have the lemon lime twist again, the dark. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to colour the stems here. Just the stems at the moment. Okay, so I've just done the stems just in the green, and I'm going to grab myself some petunia pop, and I'm just going to colour in the flowers. So there we have my two coloured sprigs right there using the Stampin' blend. So this is a great opportunity for you to colour these whatever you like. So they are done, ready to be stuck on the inside of the card a little bit later on. So just pop those to one side along with everything else. What we can do now is we can now move on to the cutting and scoring of the card base. Okay, so I'm going to take my piece here, which is measuring the 21 by 14. And remember, you should have already scored this down the middle at 10.5 centimeters in half. Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to take the scoring tool. Now again, remember I do have a more detailed video of this, so go back and check that, and links down below in the description. Okay, so I'm just going to go through this one, and we want to then score this along the long edge at 3 centimeters, kind of in the middle area, like this. Then we want to then take this to 7 centimeters. And we want to score just top and bottom, but not quite to the top and not quite but missing the middle. So there and there. And then we want to take that to 14, and then we want to do that top and bottom. So you've got your scoring, which looks like that. Then we're going to turn it onto the short edge, and we're going to cut this at 2.5 centimeters. Between this scoreline and this scoreline here, both sides. And then we're then going to do that at 4.5 centimeters between the center scoreline and that back scoreline. Okay, so that's that one. And then what we then want to do is we then want to score between this cut section right here at 5 centimeters and 9 centimeters. So that's what you are left with right now. So go ahead and do that 2 times, and then you've got your 2 pieces of cardstock identical to each other. Once you've done that, we can then fold this. So I'm going to fold this over, and I am then going to just fold and burnish those ones right there. And then I'm just going to then pop this one up, kind of just manipulate it a little bit. And then I'm going to then push that one down. And it kind of just, I'm just pushing that back so it goes like that. And it then just naturally wants to start forming. And then we can, then if you've got all of your scoring done fine, you can then quite happily just fold it all over and everything will then go flat. And there we have our card. So do that 2 times, and then you would end up with 2 pieces which are now identical to each other. And this is how we are going to end up sticking these down as well. Alright, so what we're going to do now is we're going to need to do our cutting of our designer series paper and our basic white. Okay, so we're going to need to decide what one we want with our designer series paper. So as I just mentioned, this is kind of how this is going to be laying out. We want to make sure we're happy with what we've got both sides. And then we need to make sure we then mark, I would say the best thing for you to do, because this area here is going to be cut out. So you might want to just grab yourself a pencil or a pen and just pop a pen mark on that side, just so it reminds you that's the area, that's the side you want to be cutting away. Otherwise you'll end up with papers which could be back to front, especially if you need something which is orientation specific. So just a little pen mark on either side, because that's going to be the cutout area. Okay, so with your designer series paper, you then want to line this up at, on the long edge, you want to line it up at 2 centimeters and just cut down a little bit. And if you do that on the opposite side as well, 2 centimeters and just cut in a little bit. Then what you want to do is grab your ruler, and we want to then pop a mark along that cut line at 3.5 centimeters. Okay, so I'm going to just go there and there and there. And then we can then just pop our trimmer back in, line it back up at 2, and then we can then cut down that cut line to that mark. That one. Okay, then what we want to do is we then want to line this up at 4 centimeters, and then do the same, come down to approximately probably about 1.5 inches or about 4 centimeters away from the end. Grab our ruler, and now we want to now mark this at 2.5 centimeters away from the end. And then pop that back in your trimmer, and then cut down those lines, those score lines, sorry, not score line, those cut lines, down to that mark which you've just made. Once you've done that, you want to then take it onto the short edge, and we want to then cut this at 2.5 centimeters between those 2 cut lines. So if we've got that correct, we can do that. Just gently. And then that should then slide out, and then take that to 6.5 centimeters, going up to where you cut, and then that one will come out, and then that one there, and then that one will come out. And that there is your piece, which will go on this side right here. Okay, go ahead and repeat that for the second piece. Once you've done that, that there is now what you are left with. Okay, so we can just leave that to one side for a moment. Now we need to obviously do the same with the basic white. We need to cut into this one. So what we want to do with this one is we want to, now this one doesn't matter because what way round you do it, because it's white, we can just quite easily turn it, so don't need to worry about this one. So what you want to do is you want to then line this up at 3.5 centimeters on the short edge, and we want to come up to 2.5 centimeters. So again, we're just going to, we can just eyeball this one a little bit. I think this is a little bit easier. So it's at 3.5 here, and then we want to then take it to 2.5 on the long edge, and then come down like that. And if they haven't quite met, just line them up at 3.5 again, and then continue cutting until it pops itself out. And again, do that on both pieces. Okay, so you've now got two identical pieces, and these pieces are going to sit in here and in here like this. Okay, so that's those parts done. What we can do now is we now need to, using our offcuts which we've got here, we now need to cut the pieces for all of this one right this. And this is where some of the offcuts from earlier on, which we saved from cutting the design series paper, will come in handy as well. So what you're going to want to do is we're going to use the back side of this. So this is this pattern side right here. What we're going to do is we are going to cut this to 4.5 centimeters. Okay, and then I'm going to then take one off, which is 1.5, 3.5, and 1. Remember, all of these measurements are on the previous video, so and they are all written down in centimeters and inches for you for easy reference. So that's those pieces, and you're going to want to do that 2 times on the other side as well, but I'm going to do one side first and then I'll then do the other side. Then you're going to then want to then take some of your offcuts which you have got, and you're going to want to have one measuring here at 1.5 by 3, and you're going to want 2 of those. And those last pieces were 2 by 3, so that's what you've got right there. And then these are then going to then get stuck onto, so you can stick that one, and then you can then go ahead and then stick these ones on all of these pieces like that. So go ahead and stick all of that designer series paper down. So go ahead and cut the other one for the opposite side, same measurements, and stick your designer series paper down. Don't stick your white down just yet. So what you'll then left with now is two pieces which look like this. So we've got this lovely kind of like meadow, kind of like summer design going across the pattern paper right here. So that's that part nearly done. So what we can do now is we can then just take these pieces which we got, and we can grab our embossing folder here. So I'm going to do a bit of embossing. So I'm going to run these two pieces through using the Distress Tiled 3D embossing folder, and that other larger piece which we had from earlier on, I'm going to grab the So Swirly embossing folder, and I'm going to emboss those three pieces right now. Okay, so they are the three pieces done. So that distressed one is really, really pretty. That was one of my favourite folders, is this one. And we've got the So Swirly one. This is going to be decoration for the front of the card. So just pop that one to one side, and then with these pieces, you can now go ahead and you can then stick these in to both of these sides like this. We now need to join these together. So we've got this piece which we done earlier on where we scored it, which was the, let's get this correct, which was the 5 by 14 piece scored at 2.5. So just going to fold that in half, fold and burnish. This is kind of going to act as our hinge. We want to pop some glue on one side and stick that to that. Do the same on the opposite side, and then stick that one to that one there. And that has now created our spine. So those two fun folds, these two identical fun folds, have now created one fun fold. Okay, so that's that part. So this is a stopping point as well if you want to. And obviously the card will then fold up like that, but it still looks messy because when you're given it, it looks like this. So what we want to do is we want to take these pieces which we cut from earlier on, and then we're just going to then stick those to the card front and back, which then creates a whole card, okay, without any of the messy workings on the inside. So we just need to make sure that we are sticking that to these parts only, not this part here, just these parts right here. So it will show up more in the glue in a moment. There we have it. That there is one, and then do exactly the same on the opposite side. And then that there has now just finished that card off. So it's now one complete card like that. Now we just want to now decorate the front and the inside. So I'm going to take my So Swirly emboss piece right here, and my piece with my designer series paper, and I'm just going to stick that on like that. To the front like so. And this is where these pieces now come in. So the piece which we didn't colour is going to get popped over the top like that. Okay, so we're just going to pop that in on some dimensionals. Like that. So that's just, at least we've got something on the front of the card as they open it. But we're going to have the wow and the fun fold in the middle right here. So what we've got is we are going to do the same with this one right here, which we've coloured. We're going to pop some dimensionals on the back of this one, and we can then stick this to this side over here. Grab your happy birthday, and that's going to go on like this. And then we know we can pop some glue on these bits here because they're going to get covered up. And then the final part for this, we're going to take these two pieces right here, and I'm just going to just stick these together with a little bit of glue down the bottom down here, and we're just kind of creating a double bunch of kind of flowers like that. Then what we can do with this one is we can then grab this in, and this is going to then get stuck down like this. Okay, and then we're going to then securely just put our fingers behind and just hold it in place. And that's just added a little bit of a floral element to that one right there, and that doesn't interfere with any of the card whatsoever. Coming over like that, folds flat. So that there is my card. So we've got the front like that, looks nice as it is, but then we open it up and then that is then what we are wowed with. Okay, so it's a really it's a very large card, but it folds flat to go into your 5 you'll need to make a box for around about, if you're going to do this, 5 3/4 by 5 3/4, and you can make a box or a 6 by 6 envelope will go into. But rather than being a large card like that, it folds up. But I think that will look amazing on anyone's side, and that is definitely a wow. And this designer series paper was perfect for this. As soon as I said we decided to do this style of card, I knew what paper I wanted to go through straight away, because it was just this scene going across. It was absolutely amazing. So there we have it. So that there is basically the same fun fold. Well, it is the same fun fold as what I did last week, which was that one as a single. We've now turned it into a double and decorated it completely different, and I think that is an even more wow, as I've just said already. So what did you think? Did you like that card today? Are you, again, as I said last time, feeling inspired to give this one a try yourself? I hope you do. I hope I haven't made it too scary for you. Like I say, there is the other video which does the single one with the measurements in centimetres and inches for you. Again, the link is down below in the description, or it may be floating around somewhere at the top here. So do go and check that one out. But it's basically that one fun fold done twice and connected the way that I've just going to show you. So it's very, very simple to do. Once you've mastered one, you can master this one as well. It's great. So I'm going to leave it there for now. Thank you so much for joining me, and we will be back with you again next Friday for another Fun Fold Friday. But until then, we will see you very soon. Thank you so much for watching, and yes, we'll say goodbye. See you later. Bye.